Hey guys, welcome to our new series on how to fight like John Wick with the flair of Drossos. We're going to be breaking down some fighting techniques and teaching you how you can use them in real life. Alright, so if you're striking the throat, you're striking it open right there. So if I'm here, throw your strike, and I do this, I'm coming in with a straight shot right to the throat. From there, I'm going to palm up, I can eye gouge, I can elbow, boom, bring him around and bring him down this way. I'm going to be teaching you how to use a pen as an improvised weapon. So the first thing is you want to hold it here with the thumb this way, so you have a lot more power to strike. You could also conceal it by just holding it here. So if I'm talking and I decide to strike, I could either bring it down this way and I go into the throat, into the face. If he were to attack me, go strike, he was to do this, I could punch, strike, elbow. As I elbow, I'm always using the pen. At the same time I elbow, I strike. I elbow, strike, hammer fist, strike. So it's this rotation. You can strike into the throat, into the face, into the eyes. You could also strike into the hand if the person's holding a weapon. So if I want you to clinch me, just grab me. He's here and I'm here. I could easily, can you feel this? Right? So I could go into the throat and I could just tear. Even if I break it, once I hear, I'll throw my low line kicks. I can elbow. As I elbow, again, the pen is always in a hammer fist grip, an ice big grip, and I'm always using this hand to strike and this hand to come in. So go grab me. So if you want to grab me here, right? Boom, I would strike right there into the throat. Now I'm going to teach you how to use a book as an improvised weapon. If you're faced with an attacker, if you decide to go with two hands, what you want to do is you want to go with this edge over here into the throat, striking here, okay? I can strike here, I can pop into the face, I can also use the edge of the book the same way I'd be using a strike. So if I was here, throw a strike, and he was to throw a punch, I would pop him, turn around, boom, right there, here, boom, into the throat, and I'd still be able to use all my strikes. At the same time, I can just come and rip into the face with the book. At any point too, I could just whip it into his face. So I can pop him here, strike him, and throw it in his face as a distraction if I was just wanted to escape or create a flinch response to come in. Now let's say he had a knife. This is where I can use the book to try to hammer. You can see I hit his hand a few times. All the weapon is, a book is an extension of your hand. It gives me a few inches more that I can use to try to, I'm still using my legs, and at the same time I can hit into the face, try to hit it into the hand, and at any point I can whip it right into his face. If I throw it in his face, then I create a flinch response and I come in and I enter. Don't forget, I'm still using my legs, I'm still parrying, you felt that? Now I'm not even going hard, but if I did this, I want to whack into here, boom, into the throat, step in and go for a hip toss. Again, all it does, gives me a few inches that I need to give me some space against the knife. So if I'm here, boom, boom, I'm using this, I'm still kicking, and I'm trying right now to just whip it into his face and bridge the gap. So now we're going to be looking at how to use a jacket as an improvised weapon. If you're faced with an attacker this close, trying to take out your jacket, you're actually going to be vulnerable for getting strikes. You have to have a certain amount of distance for you to do it, okay? Now, when we look at, there's a few ways of using the jacket that I'm gonna teach you. The first one is if I take it off really quick, I hold it with one arm, and I'm using it as, okay? So let's say you had a knife, let's say you're pulling out the knife, I'm using it as a distraction. At the same time, I'm still using my legs and my kicks, and I'm using the jacket to either wrap the arm around, or again, throw it in his face. The second way you can use it is this way. So you hold it here, and what I'm doing is I'm using the jacket to go into his face. Again, I'm trying to distract him and keep him from being able to see fully what he's doing. So I'm whipping it in his face. At any point, I could just throw it right there and jam inside, okay? So at any point, I could throw it in his face. I could whip it this way. Again, I wouldn't be static. I'd be using my legs and I'd still be moving. So the third way you can do it, guys, is when you take off your jacket. So let's say I was to take off my jacket, I can wrap my arm here to protect my hand, that if I do take any slashes or cuts, so if I do take any slashes, I'm taking them on here, my jacket's protecting. At the same time, I'm still throwing my low line kicks, and I'm using my hand to try to strike, to try to parry, use my legs and come in and bridge that gap as quickly as possible. You know, when you're faced with a knife, your first thing should be improvised weapons. Again, evade and escape as much as possible. So again, I'm just gonna break them down. You have one where you can use the jacket this way, where I can just whip it into his face. The second way is I can roll it here, where I use it as a distraction and use my legs to try that if I do get cut, I do get cut. The arm with the jacket takes most of the cuts. And the third way is to just throw it here, and again, you could throw it in his face and bridge the gap. Belt as an improvised weapon. Now, in order for me to pull out my belt, I have to have a good amount of distance. So it's always about range and distance. If I'm here and I try to pull out my belt, I'm getting stabbed for sure. So you need to have a certain amount of distance for me to be able to come out and pull it out, okay? Now, there's a few ways of holding the belt. First, this way, okay, where you have both hands on the belt and you're swinging it here. The second way is you wrap it around the arm. 1, 2, 3. I have a solid grip. My other hand is free as well, so I can strike here, I can strike there, and do you still want to come in against this?
Hell no.
Hell yeah, right? Well, I'm, you know, as much as possible, I might try to hit the weapon hand or try to hit the face, but what am I doing is I'm creating distance and demotivating him to continue his attack. Now, if I was to clinch, so throw the knife, so he could also use it to parry, and if I could trap it, yes, okay, but it takes a lot of timing. Go, I can trap. Now, if I can trap, try to pull away, this is when I can strike, I'll use my hand, and I'll try to trap the knife with the belt. I can headbutt, I could knee, I could come in and trap the arm. If you're gonna use a belt, try to keep it to this here or this over here. On this episode on how to fight like John Wick, we're gonna be looking at knife defense. We're gonna be looking at static knife attack. Static is when the knife is placed somewhere on your body, either here, 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 or across. Now, what you want to do is when you're faced with a static knife attack, so put the knife anywhere in my body, the first thing you want to do, you're in close quarter range, the most important thing is to trap the knife. If I'm in close quarter range, for me to try to parry the knife here, you need to trap the knife. So if it's here, I need to trap it here. If it's this way, I'm going to bring it across. If it's here, I bring it here. The important thing in static knife attack is that you trap the weapon. Okay, so put the knife anywhere in my body. So if I'm here, what I'm gonna do is bring up my hands, trap. His reaction is either gonna be to pull back, try to stick it in me, try to switch hands, try to punch me, try to take me down. My objective is to keep that knife hand trapped. Now, when you look at a lot of the John Wick movies, he does this excellent. He's always trapping the knife, and he's always striking with the other arm. So the idea is when you trap the knife, you gotta go directly into your strikes and keep it in close quarters. So if I'm here, what I want you to do, Pascal, I want you to try to take me down. Go. So if he's here and he tries to take me down, look where I'm at. I trap the knife here, I actually stabbed him with the knife, and my hand is over here. I'm always pinning the knife either to his body or my body and striking with the other. Okay, so go back here. Now, Pascal, if this was a real fight, what would you do? Try to pull him down, boom. I go right into here, I trap that. I'm always keeping the knife pinned, and the other hand is in the person's face. I'm either striking or using, you feel this? Or using pressure points. Okay, if you look at John Wick, he's always doing that. Now, what he does as well is he does a lot of judo throws as well as some grappling, but we're going to be looking at that at the next episode, okay? The knife is here. Where does the knife have to go to cut me? Here. What do I want to do? I want to trap the knife and clear my body. How do I do that? Boom, bring it down. Pascal, I want you to give me resistance. What would you do? Go. Boom, he would keep fighting, go. So he's fighting, I'm doing here. Now look how we ended up. I'm here, I have a trap here and this hand here, right? And I pinned it there. From there, what could I do? Can I headbutt? No, but look what I can do here. I can just, boom, flip, and I'm always keeping the knife trapped and the other hand into his face. Now, this is the most dangerous part. If the person grabs you, what happened? We end up focusing on the knife, but we gotta move the arm. So if he grabs me, I have to either bypass the arm, right? I have to parry or come in, and again, either move the arm to the side, grab, move the arm and try to bypass it. Again, I'm trapping and I'm striking at the same time. Again, I can still use my legs. And if he's doing this, I'm keep going, slash, slash. When he's doing this, I'm getting cut. I need to come in and jam that knife as quickly as possible. So what I'm doing is I'm parrying. If I could, I'm striking, and at any point, what I want to do is trap. If I grab the clothes, whatever I get, I pin it to my body, and I start going into my strikes. If I'm doing this, keep slashing, I'm doing this, I gotta come at one point, keep going, keep cutting, out, heavy. Boom, I gotta, boom, come in and trap the knife and pin it. Once I pin it, any way I pin it, I go into my strikes as quickly as possible. Now in reality, if he's out here, I'm using my legs to keep him back, kick him in the nuts, jar kick to the knees, I'm parrying, I'm striking at the same time. So if we're clinched and we're in close quarter, what I want you to do, Pascal, is I just want you to take that knife and stab me. Go, whatever you want, go. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah. Right. Woo. So, you okay? Yeah. This is a great simple drill, guys, to just always stay. What we were doing right now, this was really dynamic. All I was doing was slipping, moving, feeling my opponent's energy, trying to stick to the attacker, grab the arms, and always be inside. That was awesome. In this episode on how to fight like John Wick, we're going to be looking at gun defense. Gun defense. A gun is pointed to your head. First thing I want to do is bring up my hands. I want to start using verbal. I want to try to de-escalate, pattern interrupt, start talking to the guy. If he wanted to shoot, he would have done it already. So if he hasn't shot, that means he could still do something. Now, if I decide to disarm and disarm him and take away the gun, there's a few options I'm going to give you. Option number one is you move your head, trap the gun, point it. As I point it, I jam it into my attacker. I jam it here. From there, I can headbutt, I can elbow. The objective is, you feel that, Pascal? His finger is jammed in here. Boom, pull it out, boom, aim the gun, bring it down. Okay, you're in close quarter range. If I'm here and he decides, go grab me, and he decides, boom, my hand's gonna come up over here. Turn around, face me over here this way. So I'm here, I wanna make sure I protect my weapon hand. This is when I'm gonna keep the gun here, boom, to shoot. I can still elbow there, I can still eye gouge, I can still slip over here and bring the gun down to high. The other way I could do it is bring it down with one hand, bring it this way, flip it over, boom, boom, or down. Very important is when I'm in close quarter range, you want to protect the weapon. His instinct is going to come to get it. He's either going to come reach it. So if I'm here, he's either going to try to reach it here, he might try to punch me, he might try to tackle me, go tackle me, and I'm going to be here at the same time, grab my jacket, and here, I'm going to use this over here where I can still strike. I'm keeping the weapon inside my hip to shoot high, low, and again, I still have access to all my weapons. I can also strike him into the throat, into the face, hammer him here. But the important thing is to keep the gun nice and protected over here, that at any point, go grab it with this hand. I'm here, I'm always clinching and grabbing, so the hand is always leading and the gun is moving from high, low, where I can strike with it and I can shoot with it as well. The dangerous is if his hand is leading. So if his hand is like this, so if your hand is up, right, and he's doing this, this is a bitch, right? So if he's got his hand up here, he's protecting his weapon hand. This is dangerous, whether the person's holding a knife or a gun. When you see this, he's protecting the weapon hand and he's using the arm to keep you back, okay? And what happens a lot of time is we focus on the weapon, but we forget the arm. if he's doing this and his hand is up, right? I gotta bypass the arm, come in and trap the gun, and I go into the face or I strike depending on what he does. So if I'm here, coming in with the arm, push, and I do this, I come in right away. Once I'm here, I can slip in here. The important thing is to jam the weapon hand to his body, and this is when I strike the throat or eye gouge. I'm always keeping a stick on the weapon. If he's got two hands this way and he's doing this, I have to bring my head down and bring my hands up and bring the gun away. Now, I'm a lot more afraid of a knife than a gun in close quarter range. And I did a seminar in New York City, 22 feet. The cop has the gun, I have a knife, somebody said go. By the time I ran, by the time he pulled out his gun, I cut him. So a knife is a lot more dangerous in close quarter range. However, right, the gun outside in range is dangerous and in close as well if the person knows how to use it. But once you're out of the line of fire, the gun is no longer a threat. The one thing that you have to do, so hold the gun any way you want. I want you to point it at me, right? So start talking to me.
Yeah, so, dead now.
All right, man, all right. Oh, if I do this, right, I grabbed it here. What's important is, as soon as I trap the weapon, I'm always aware of where the barrel is pointing, where the gun is pointing. Okay, so what I did, as the arm came in, the arm came in, I moved out, and I moved the arm from there, so he's here, right? And now, this is how we ended up. I trapped the gun, I used my arm. Again, here I'd be eye gouging, I'd be striking, right? I'm in close quarter range, and I know that the gun is over here. What I want to make sure now is that I don't release the gun, that I'm keeping it here and I'm striking, and if I have to reach into the gun at this moment, as I'm striking, I would have to have no choice but to turn over here and try to take the gun away from him.
Drossos, you about to die, bro.
All right, man, all right, just go ahead, man. What do you want, man? Just take whatever you want. I'll give you everything.
Yeah, you about to get your life.
Right? Hey guys, Nick Drossos. In this episode on how to fight like John Wick, we're gonna be looking at some close quarter striking and some sweeps. So the next takedown we're gonna be looking at is called the Kata Guruma. So let's say I'm striking, he threw his punch, whatever it is, I clinch. What I do is I bury my head in here. At the same time, I take a step. So I come here, I squat, and I throw him over. Now, I don't want to slam him, but I'm just gonna pick you up really quick. So let's say we clinch, boom, I'm here, boom, right there. And as I get up, boom, flip him over and slam him on the other side, guys. We're here, I bury my head inside, I pivot my leg, and I'm gonna reach for the knee and lift him. Kind of like a fireman's carry. So what it looks like is, I come here, boom, underneath, and then I flip him over. Now you can see I have a good grab over here, and I just use my body and I slam him. So it has to be done really quick. So if he throws a strike, boom, I'm here, boom, and toss him right over my back. All right, the next thing I'm gonna teach you guys is how to do a triangle choke. So you see it in John Wick, so I'll show you guys how to do it. The first thing is, this leg comes around here. The arm is parried. You bring this leg in here, right? And you squeeze. Now what you could do, you could bring up the leg. I want you to tap my leg when you feel it, okay? Go. So I'm squeezing, right? He tapped right away. And now the other thing you could also do is pull on the head, tap. Okay, now I'm not even putting a lot of power. So one leg goes in, the other one comes here. From there, look, I'm open to strikes, to eye gouges, to elbows. At any point too, I could push up, I could push his neck. I could also roll him as well and then come on top of him if I wanted to keep some pressure on. All right, guys, so the first takedown we're gonna be looking at is an ochigari. It's a sweep where you put in your leg to trip your attacker. So let's say here I'm clinched and we're here, right? And let's say I bicep popped, I headbutt, I elbow, and I wanna take him down. So what happens is I take this foot, I slip it on the inside. So if I'm here, I slip it on the inside and I pull this way. As I grab, boom. You okay?
Yep.
I bring the attacker down to the ground, okay? Come back up. I'm gonna show it slow motion. So if, let's say I'm standing up, boom, I strike, we clinch, he grabs me, go grab me. I'm here. Let's say I decide to knee, I slip in the foot, I hook it, and I pull. As I pull, boom, I bring down. It's that easy. This is a great sweep and could be done in the street once I strike and I enter.